Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Whitehouse and I'm the artist behind Whitehouse Art. For today's tutorial, I'm going to do something a little bit different for you guys. I'm going to show you a new product that a company sent me. It's a set of watercolors and they just wanted me to try it out and let you guys know what I think. So let's just dive right in. So the company is called Artistro, and when they sent it to me, it came in this beautiful pink soft package. I'm not sure how much I would use that, just because it would get destroyed in my office, as everything beautiful does. It gets paint all over it. So when you open it up, you can see that it comes with a set of watercolor paper. It says heavyweight, 140 pound, which is what I like to use, and the size is 5 by 8. So it's great for practicing and getting started. When you open up the paint set, you can see there is a palette for mixing colors, as well as trying out the colors so you know how they look on paper. And there's this great little card that lets you know who the owners are, a little bit about them, that you're supporting a small business. And then the pièce de résistance, the watercolors. So you can see there's this chart that shows all the different colors. And then here they are. They're quite beautiful. It comes with a thin watercolor liner, a pencil, an eraser, and then one of these watercolor brushes that you can put water in and then it'll keep your brush wet. I've honestly never used one of these, but today we're gonna give it a shot, just for the sake of trying out everything. So yeah, why don't we get started with a small painting and I'll walk you through a tutorial of a chickadee. All right, so as I always do, I'm gonna start by sketching out the subject so you guys know how to draw it first. So chickadees all kind of have the same basic shape, a little bit like a fat jelly bean. So we're gonna draw a dome shape. The beak is gonna go out to the side. And then it comes down and around. I paint chickadees quite a bit, so for this one I'm not even using a reference photo. I actually have, instead of a reference photo, I just have one of my chickadees I've already painted on the screen. So we're just blocking off where the dark colors are, so we know the eye is across from the beak. And I'm exaggerating the size of some of the features a little bit, but then we'll have the wing come around here. And then we're just gonna put the little feet out to either side, like so. We're just keeping it really simple, just trying to test out these paints, see if they work for the wet and wet technique, see if they work for some of the ways I'm used to painting. So I've already filled up the brush, so I'm going to use it to lay down some of the water first. So you kind of squeeze this push button and then water in theory should come out. Oh yeah, there we go. Now you can't control precisely how much comes out. Maybe with practice you could. So it's good to have a paper towel nearby. That way you can eliminate a little bit of the water if you need to. But like I said, I'm sure with practice you'd get better at it. All right, so I'm going to start with the yellow for this one. I'm just gonna lay down the yellow here. It's quite bright, which I love. Now I often mix on the page, so I'm not used to mixing on a mixing palette, which is fine, but for making some colors it might be a little bit tricky. For instance, there's no bright pink, so I'm gonna use the magenta and see how that looks. That's pretty pink, that's pretty nice. I wasn't sure, it looks a little bit darker. We're gonna do some magenta right here. I'm not used to using this, so I assume I rinse it off as normal. And then I'm gonna lay in a bit of water to help it move around. here. It kind of comes up into the face. And for that, we'll use a little bit of the blue. And we're using sparing amounts of color for the whites of the bird. That way, when I go to do the darks, they really do represent black, even though they won't actually be black. Now, I'm not sure if I could use this brush to do some splatters. Yep, there we go. All right. So now I'm going to move over to the beak just because I'm trying to avoid letting it dry a lot in between. So I'm going to use this nice dark blue. All of the colors definitely look much brighter on the page, which is nice. And they even look brighter than it shows on the little guide. I'm gonna drop in a little bit of this here. All right. Now I'm just gonna let this dry for a minute and then I'm gonna come back and show you how I do the dark parts. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put water in all the spots that are black on the chickadee. So I'm definitely liking this brush. It's definitely nice to have the water on hand, although I don't find I have quite as much control, but I really do feel like that's something that I would get with more practice. Sometimes it's hard to know when you're first using something, and for beginners, or like, especially for like my daughter who's 10 and loves to paint, she would really enjoy something like this. She likes to use a lot of water and she finds her paints dry out fast. So she would like this. And I know for her, she has a really hard time getting those really rich colors that I sometimes get. And I find this kit, they're definitely extremely vibrant colors, which I'm liking. Now this is like a super simple sketch, but it would be fun to try doing like a pet portrait, something that I do a lot more often than I'm used to doing, and trying these out for that. So I'm gonna use more of this dark blue color. And I would recommend, now that I've just started using them, using this color chart, just because I find that the colors are a lot different than the diagram that comes with them. I shouldn't say a lot different. They are different than the diagram. It's hard to print out colors and have them be true to how they look on watercolor paper. So it's certainly nothing against the company. It's just something to keep in mind, that if you really want to know what color you're ending up with, it would be good to fill out that color chart. So that's something I'm going to take care of. It was so hard to start adding water to this palette because it's so beautiful. I don't want to muddy it up, but eventually it'll look like my palette, which is, I'll show you guys. This is what I use, an ice cube tray, and it's about as messy as a palette can get, but I love it. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of some purple. That's actually blue. Looked purple. Haha. That's why it's so important to pay attention to the chart. Okay, well, this one's purple. It's for sure purple. There we go. Ooh, I like that one. So I'm really digging these colors that come with this. All right, I'm gonna widen up the head a little bit. You get the idea. Put in some little legs. Not my finest work, but it's a really good way of showing how these watercolors work in real life. So I'm gonna look at the chart. I see the black is here. So I'm gonna do the eye. Black. I'm going to use my liner brush to add a bit of detail now. So it has this little plastic covering. I never use these afterwards, I always toss them. Just because if you try and get them on again, you'll end up breaking your brush. So I don't recommend keeping them or using them. Just my personal preference. One thing that I'm really used to doing is wiping off my brush on the edge of the container, so I'm not sure what I will do about that, what habit I'll develop for that. But I'm just drawing some little brush strokes to represent the feathers. Around the edge here. I'm gonna keep making my way around, which when you're adding these feathers, you're also darkening it, because if it's still wet, it's going to leave that color through. And I just like to have these little like touches of feathers coming out so that it's not super smooth, because the reality is the chickadees have lots of little tufts. Like out here by the beak, you have a few that kind of randomly push out. And then the wing again, just going over it. So just kind of make your way around, add as many little brush strokes as you want. I'm loving this liner brush. It's quite nice. We'll see how it holds up to daily use, but so far I'm really liking it. Just add a few more here. And we're gonna darken up the eye a little bit, a bit more black. This is fun, I'm liking these. I know I keep saying it, but I think I've been using the same watercolors for so long, I haven't tried out anything new. And it's a lot of fun to try out a new product. I'll show you guys some more tutorials with these in the coming months because they are super fun. I can do some more advanced ones. I know a lot of you have been asking me about painting pets. That's something that I've wanted to do as a tutorial, but it's tricky because they do take quite a while, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna manage that one, whether I do it as a separate thing off YouTube or what, but we're talking like hours, so I'm not sure yet. If you guys have any platforms you like to use that you want to let me know, I'm all ears. I haven't done any lengthy tutorials yet that are over an hour, so I'm definitely open to it. All right, so I think that's good for now. I'm gonna just try out the white just in this one spot where it's already dry, just because I want to see how the white works. Most of the time white watercolor isn't very strong, and I end up using white gouache. So we'll see how this... Yeah, so it's pretty typical of white watercolor, which is fine, but it doesn't really... Like you can see, it's just blending right in. So it's more like a subtle highlight versus when I use the white gouache, it's very strong. But it's good for mixing. You could use it for making your pinks and stuff, lightening up areas. But yeah. So that's it. Overall, I love the watercolors. They're nice, bright colors. They work really well for the blending. Like I said, this was just a super easy sketch, but I'm open to doing a few more in the coming months just to see how they work with other techniques. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed painting along with me. I had a lot of fun using this new product. They did not pay me for this post, so this is solely my opinion. I think they're great. I think they're great if you're getting started. I think they work well for kids as well. If you're interested in picking up a set of your own, I'll leave a link down below with a discount code. And if you have any questions at all, please be sure to leave a comment and hit subscribe if you want to see other videos just like this one. Have a great day.